Well, that's the campsite where I stayed the night before setting off on my journey to retrace the route of the Trafalgar Way. The journey that was taken in 1805 by Lieutenant Lapenotiere of HMS Pickle when he brought back the news of our British victory at Trafalgar and sadly the loss of Lord Nelson. I'm now at Fish Strand Quay, which is the location where Lieutenant Lapenotiere landed in 1805 on the 4th of November with the dispatches that he had to take to the Admiralty in London, given to him by Admiral Collingwood, telling of the victory at Trafalgar, but sadly of the death of Lord Nelson. This wasn't even a quay in 1805, it was just a beach where fish were landed. From here, the lieutenant made his way as quickly as he could to arrange his first post-chase carriage, and there is a stone commemorating the moment of his arrival right here. I'm now standing by the art gallery in Falmouth, the location reckoned to be where Lieutenant Lapenotiere took his first post-chase carriage on his long journey to London. Here's the first of the commemorative plaques, and his post-chase journey began here. The first town en route was Penryn, but the horses were still fresh, so the post-chase didn't stop. It was carried straight on through. Nobody here would know the news for 3 or 4 weeks when more ships would arrive at Falmouth. There's still a plaque here commemorating the journey, and Penryn being the first town on that trip. But Lapenotiere just carried on his urgent dash towards the Admiralty with all dispatch. Perranwell was the next town en route, but the horses still weren't tired, so they sped on through here too. Here at the Royal Oak, there is another plaque commemorating its point in the journey. Trying to stick as closely as possible to the old coach roads of the original route, but it strikes me that driving a not too large camper van, negotiating some of these narrow country lanes, we're probably not making much faster speeds than the post chase did way back in 1805. In fact, sometimes we're probably even slower. Truro. And this was the 4th stop on Lapenotiere's journey and the first post-horse change. Plaque to tell us of the fact, but how much easier it would have been to get the message to the Admiralty if the phone boxes had been here in 1805. So this is the old coach road that the post-chase would have driven along until it came to the Blue Anchor Inn at Fradden. The location for the second change of horses. Location of the 5th plaque. I'm grateful for this shelter. Here's the plaque. I'm under the shelter, but I'm grateful for the shelter because it's chucking it down. And the weather's probably pretty similar to what Lieutenant Lapenotiere experienced himself when he made his journey. Today is the 21st of October, a significant date, the date of the Battle of Trafalgar. Lieutenant Lapenotiere didn't actually leave Trafalgar area for about 5 days, waiting for a storm to abate. Looks like history doesn't half mind repeating itself. Here at Bodmin, the Shire Hall is the location of the 6th plaque, the 3rd horse change. The plaque is located on the steps on which I'm standing that lead from Mount Folly Square up to Shire Hall. The journey continues. In the middle of Launceston, there's the White Hart Hotel. It's the site of the 7th stop, the 4th horse change on the journey from Falmouth to the Admiralty. The Arundel Arms in Lifton is only a few miles from Launceston, where the last change of horses took place. So there was no need to change horses here. Nevertheless, plaque number 8 commemorates the journey. I'm now in Bridgestow. Behind me is the White Hart, and I've just stumbled on a duck race. It's apparently a regular thing they have here. A kind of bonus that you find along the way on a journey like this. It's a lovely little village, and it's also the 9th stop, or certainly the 9th plaque on Lieutenant Lapenotiere's journey. They didn't change horses here, because we're only about 8 miles from the last horse change at Launceston. They sped through Lifton, they sped through here, and I think they might have missed a duck race. What a shame.
He's just throwing them in.
Although it's a few miles off the intended route, this is the wackiest pub, the most interesting pub in England. In my view, it's the Highwayman at Sowerton in Devon. These photographs and images just don't do it justice. It's well worth a visit. Although there's no commemorative plaque here at the Highwayman, neither inside nor outside, it is after all half a mile off the route that was taken, Nelson is still immortalised here. Oakhampton, the road in from Bridgestow. And the 10th stop, and the 5th horse change, is the White Hart Hotel. And there's the plaque to prove it. So we come to Sticklepath and the Devonshire Inn, which was the 11th stop. No change of horses here, but across the road from the Devonshire Inn is the commemorative plaque, and painted on the white building, the signal at Trafalgar. England expects every man to do his duty. So here in Crockenwell, it's the 12th stop and the 6th horse change. Not all the buildings that bear the plaques are as substantial as they were in 1805. This is clearly one of them. But still, the plaques are here, and they're well worth a visit. This is the road from Clockenwell to Tedburn St Mary, where we are now. This is the location of the 13th plaque. And bearing in mind what we said at the previous stop, how buildings aren't maybe as substantial as they were in 1805, this is another fine example, because this one's not much more than a park bench. It's good to see the plaque though. I'm at the Royal Oak Pub in Nadderwater. This was the 14th stop on Lieutenant Lapenotiere's journey, and look who's coming down the road.
Thank you. Sorry, we don't need
The Royal Oak Pub is across the road from the 14th plaque. There was no horse change here. The next horse change would be at Exeter, which will be our next stop. Exeter, and this is the location that has probably changed the most since 1805. Although there's still a bus station and a coach station. Across the road from the coach station is the Civic Centre, and in Dick Street you have the 15th plaque and the 7th horse change. The 7th horse change was made early on the 5th of November 1805 at a cost of £1, 17 shillings and 6 pence. So now we're at Honiton, where the 16th plaque is located. Again, the horses were fresh here, so there was no need for a horse change. And Lieutenant Lapenotiere sped on towards Honiton. I'm in Honiton High Street, location of the 17th plaque and the 8th horse change. And it just so happens that that particular plaque is on the side of Costa Coffee. I'm going in. So here we are in Wilmington at the White Hart, which was the 18th stop on this momentous journey. No horse change here, as we were only 3 miles from the last horse change at Honiton, and here's the plaque. If you turn off the A35 down Whitford Road to Kilmington, you come across the location of the 19th plaque, which is Kilmington Village Hall. As you drive into Axminster, through the centre of town, you come to the old bell house. The old bell house was the location of the 20th stop, 20th plaque, and the 9th change of horses. Situated just before you get to the George Hotel. And there's the plaque itself at the bell house, the old bell house. now in Bridport, just outside the Bull Hotel. This was the 10th horse change on this momentous journey and the site of the 21st plaque. It's a pity that the plaque is half hidden by an olive tree here, but I guess that's what happens over time. Antelope Walk in Dorchester was the next stop. This was once the Antelope Inn, a coaching house. It was used as a courtroom by Judge Jeffreys in the Bloody Assizes of 1685 after the Monmouth Rebellion. Dorchester was the 22nd stop on this journey and the 11th change of horses. The plaque commemorating this event is tucked away in Antelope Walk in the centre of Dorchester. The historic town of Blandford Forum was the next stop, and at the point where Market Place joins West Street there is the Greyhound Inn. This Trafalgar Way plaque, marking the 23rd stop and 12th change of horses, is tucked away in the side alley called Greyhound Yard, which leads to the current Greyhound Inn. So now we're at Woodyates, or just outside Woodyates on the main A354. This would have been the 24th stop and the 13th change of horses. Over my shoulder is the plaque that commemorates the event, just by the bus stop. And then from here, Lieutenant Lapenotiere changed horses as quickly as he could. Would have sped on up the road to his next stop, which would have been Salisbury. Next, in Salisbury, the plaque we're looking for is at the Guildhall. The plaque can be found at the back of the Guildhall in Fish Row. This plaque commemorates the 25th stop en route and the 14th change of horses. This was at a cost of £1, 17 shillings and sixpence. For Lapenotiere the costs are rising, but he must press on, and his next stop is Andover. Here in Andover, once again, we'll find the plaque at the Guildhall in the High Street. This time, it's on the west wall of Andover Guildhall. We're at the 26th plaque and the 15th change of horses. Recorded on the plaque is the cost of £2 and 15 shillings. Lapenotiere must pay up and press on. I'm at the community centre in Overton, which is a lovely little village. Can't have changed much since Lieutenant Lapenotiere was here, because this was the 27th stop and the 16th change of horses. And here over my shoulder is the plaque that commemorates his visit here. Here in Basingstoke, Jane Austen's statue guards the entrance to the Willis Museum. This is the location of our next plaque. It's inside the museum, to the rear of the ground floor, just by the ornate staircase. This marks the 28th stop and the 17th change of horses. The next stop en route is Hertford Bridge. The White Lion Antique Centre was formerly a coaching inn. This is the location of the 29th plaque, commemorating the 18th change of horses. Although it will have changed somewhat over the intervening years, it's still worth exploring the interior to get a sense of what this place would have been like back in Lapenotiere's day. So as the A30 continues on through Camberley, we come to the site of the 30th stop, which is now the site of the American Golf Shop here in Camberley. We also have the plaque commemorating Lapenotiere's visit here. There was no change of horses here. They'd only just changed horses up the road at Hertford Bridge. The next change of horses will be at the next stop, which is Bagshot. Here in Bagshot, an important feature of the square is the Jubilee lamp and the signpost that it illuminates. The signpost was erected in 1897 to mark Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee. The base of the lamp incorporates the 31st plaque, marking the 19th change of horses. The signpost tells how close Lapenotiere is to his goal of the Admiralty. In these last stages of his journey, Lapenotiere must have been counting down the miles. Some of the milestones that would have marked his route can still be seen today along the way. Now at the King's Arms in Egham. This was the 32nd stop along the route. No change of horses here either. We'd only just changed horses on the road at Bagshot. Plaques here commemorating the 32nd stage of this journey. Lapenotiere would carry on to his next stop, his next horse change, and Staines. Staines was the 33rd stop on the journey and the 20th change of horses. There is a plaque here on the side of the town hall, but it's a little bit higher than all the rest that we've seen. I'm now in the foyer of Holy Trinity Church in Hounslow. Over my shoulder is the plaque marking the 34th stop on this journey and the 21st and therefore the final change of horses for Lapenotiere. Although this was the final change of horses before continuing on to London, he still has a long way to go. Just opposite Kew Bridge in Brentford is the former coaching inn, the Express Tavern. Here we find the 35th plaque. There was no change of horses here as they were still fresh, but this dark November night was getting foggy, so they pressed on as quickly as they could. The Express Tavern was appropriately named. The plaque here is unusual in that it names the men of Brentford and Chiswick who served at Trafalgar. It gives their age, their rank, and the ship in which they served. In Hammersmith, the Salutation Inn proudly claims its heritage as the site of a coaching inn. Inside the Salutation Inn is the location of the 36th plaque. Lapenotiere pressed on as the fog grew thicker. In Kensington, by the entrance to Holland Park, the 37th plaque can be found on the railings nearby. Lapenotiere is nearing the end of his journey. So now I'm right by Trafalgar Square, specifically by the side of Canada House, which is the location of the 38th plaque. The penultimate plaque commemorating the stages of Lapenotiere's journey. Just around the corner is the old Admiralty building, where Lieutenant Lapenotiere delivered his dispatches. That will be our next stop. And our final stop. So this is Whitehall in London, the final point of Lieutenant Lapenotiere's journey, bringing the momentous news of the victory at Trafalgar and the sad loss of Admiral Lord Nelson. And here's the final plaque to commemorate his arrival at the old Admiralty building, where he delivered his most urgent dispatches. The early morning of the 6th of November 1805, the end of a momentous journey. The best known monument to Admiral Lord Nelson is his column in Trafalgar Square. There's also a splendid memorial to Nelson in St Paul's Cathedral, and in the crypt is his tomb. Lieutenant Lapenotiere is buried in far more humble surroundings at the parish church of Menheniot in Cornwall. And this is his tomb. And there's a plaque commemorating his exploits in 1805. This may seem like a humble resting place, but the monument to Lieutenant Lapenotiere is far more impressive. It stretches 271 miles all along the Trafalgar Way, from Falmouth to the Admiralty in London. Monuments don't come much bigger than that. At the time of this filming, Mal Nicholson, who's the owner of Pickle and founder of Historic Motor and Steam, a community interest company, is repairing and refurbishing a modern replica of Pickle. Under the wraps against the weather, it's not too much of a leap of the imagination to get a sense of how Pickle may have felt after the ravages of the Battle of Trafalgar. Well, the story wouldn't be complete unless the Pickle itself was here to close the story off. As you can see, it's a work in progress, it's being extensively refurbished, and this is the ship that was built along the same lines as the Pickle, but it keeps the Pickle name alive and recognises Lapenotiere's journey. He came all the way back from Trafalgar in this vessel, this type of vessel, with the news of the British victory over the French and Spanish fleet and Nelson's death. This is one heck of a ship, one heck of a journey. There is still much work to be done above decks and below to put Pickle back in order. Using traditional skills and keeping ancient shipbuilding techniques alive, but more importantly, keeping Pickle and her story alive. There'll never be another.